What's up, YouTube? My name is Jason, and this is my take. And I'm back with another video, and today we're gonna do an end of month quick reviews for the month of February. For those who are new here, what I do in these videos is just quickly review some albums, a handful of albums that I just didn't get to do a full review for February. Now, some of these might have dropped in January. One of them actually dropped in December of last year, but I still wanted to kind of talk about it a little bit. But we're just gonna quickly just go over these. I have 6 here. Won't be too long of a video, but just wanted to give my quick thoughts because I listen to so much music and I do want to at least talk about a lot of them, even though I don't get to do full reviews. So let's dive right into it. First here on my list is the new Yeat album. I think I'm pronouncing that right. It's called Two Alive. Now, I honestly had not heard of this guy until last week or whenever the project dropped, because that's all the tweets I was seeing were people just talking about him. He was trending at one point, so of course I had to see what was going on. And did I like this album? No, not really. But do I understand why he was being talked about and why people really rock with it? Of course, I definitely do. I get it. Ultimately, I've heard it before and I've heard it better. A lot of the sounds on here, a lot of his flows and his inflections and different things, it gave me Playboy Carti vibes, it gave me Uzi vibes, and Playboy and Uzi do it better, and a lot of the tracks on here just didn't really move me. There were some solid moments, some beats that were just crazy, that were bangers for sure. And I like his voice. I liked his voice at times and different things he was doing, but it just wasn't overall doing it for me. I also wish it wasn't 20 tracks over an hour of material, but I don't get everything I wish for. So I am curious to see what ends up happening with this guy in the future. I like the space of melodic, emo trap. I think there's a lot of dope music there, but I enjoy it too because there are artists that sound distinct and do things a little differently. So I could get into his music, I don't know if this is his first album or not, but he continues to find his sound and separate himself. I could really get into him because there were some solid moments on here. Next is the Craven album, Craven and 3. Just like Yeat, this was a guy that I hadn't heard of until, he dropped this project and everybody was just talking about him on Twitter. He is a producer out of Canada and he dropped a project with a few songs on it, where it's guests, it's rappers on all the songs as guests. And boy, did I enjoy this album. This is my type of music right here. Sample driven, hip hop, that's a little dusty, boom bappy. You had guys on here like Stove God Cooks, Elucid, Navy Blue, Evidence. There were a lot of solid rappers that I really enjoy that were over this production by Craven. And the mixture of these two made for a smooth listen. It was short, it was sweet, and I keep coming back to it for sure. So I thoroughly enjoyed this. I'm definitely gonna be checking out Craven in 2 and the first Craven in as well because this was solid. Next is the new Moonchild album, Starfruit. Moonchild is a R&B group out of LA. I recognized the voice when I first listened to this because this was my introduction to them. I recognized the singer, Amber Navarin, because I've heard her guest on other people's songs. So I had no clue she was in a group. I had no idea about Moonchild. I'm glad I finally found them because this is easily one of the best R&B albums I've heard this year. The infusions of jazz, neo soul, it was so beautiful. It was silky smooth. The production, the live instrumentation, I love this album. I was gonna do a full review on it, but honestly, I still need more time with this album. I still haven't fully digested it because it's so good. I was overwhelmed when I first heard it and how good it was that I haven't been able to fully return to it to do more full listens rather than just doing different tracks. But man, this album is amazing. I don't know how I haven't known about this group before then, because they have other things in their catalog. But you guys should definitely check this out if you're into jazzy, like neo soul, like R&B. Yes. Next is the new Mach-Hommy project, Dollar Menu. Mach-Hommy drops 2 or 3 projects a year, so wasn't surprised that I saw this one. His album Pray for Haiti that he dropped last year was in my top 10 rap albums of 2021. And I mean, even after that, he dropped a project this past December. So yeah, he'll drop. This project saw Mach-Hommy doing what he usually does, and that's being an amazing lyricist. Like, really not that many people can rap like this man can. But my biggest gripe was just like the sound of this thing. Like, this was engineered like not the best. A lot of times Mach-Hommy's vocals just sounded like he just recorded it and like nothing was done to it. Some of the beats, like there were instruments, like sounds that were like super high, and it was like really weird on the ears. And so it was just odd, just like the engineering of this thing overall. It was like dirty, but like not in a good way. But like I said, there were some uncredited features on here in Mach-Hommy. Like, they were all doing their thing lyrically, but you know, it has to sound good along with the words to really hit, and it didn't do both of those things, unfortunately. Next is the new Nick Grant album, Welcome to Loveland. Now, Nick Grant is a rapper who I wish that I had listened to his music more. I've heard tracks here and there, and you know, him being out of South Carolina, like, I definitely am upset that I haven't been on him like I should have. But on this new album over here, he actually takes a different approach and is doing more singing and more R&B soul infusions with rap on this thing. And in ways, it reminds me of Big Crit's most recent album that I reviewed last week, and just kind of the switch up with it. But I think that Nick Grant executed this very well. I love the theme of him, you know, just focusing on women and talking about his appreciation from them from a physical, mental, emotional standpoint. I thought there was a lot of good execution on here. Solid production, some misses here and there, that some things that didn't really move me, but overall I found myself really vibing to this. And lastly is the most recent album from Alicia Keys, entitled Keys. Now, this is the album that I was referencing before. It did drop in December, but this thing was like 26, 27 tracks, so I did want to talk about it. It just wasn't going to be talked about when it dropped, because that's a lot of music. And this was cool. How this was structured was, it was like a double album, in that there were like 14 songs of like the original songs, more piano driven. And then most of those songs were like some additions on the second disc that were the unlocked versions that had way more instrumentation, a little more flavor to them. Overall, this is a cool project, but I'll actually say that I enjoyed the originals on the first half, the more piano driven like tracks, like I said, as opposed to the unlocked songs, because I feel like the unlocked versions, while they did add more flavor and a lot more things, they felt more weird, just in terms of how it sounded, because maybe it's coming off of hearing the original versions that made me feel like nothing else needed to be done to them. I thought that they were very beautiful sounding tracks. Alicia Keys, you know, sounding as beautiful vocally as she always does. Pusha T pops up on the first half. I think that just hearing the original songs and then turning around and hearing like the remix or the unlocked version might be stunting my judgment. So I might go back and listen to, you know, the unlocked ones first and then the originals to see. But that's kind of how I'm feeling about it so far. But overall, a solid record. A long one, but a solid one from Alicia Keys. So guys, that was it for my end of month quick reviews for February. What were you guys' thoughts on these projects? What were your favorite tracks on these projects? Give me your thoughts in the comments. Thank you guys so much for tuning into another week of Jason's Take. Of course, got more videos coming for you next week. Please like and subscribe to the channel. I'm Jason. This has been my take, and I'll see you next time.